Russia lost 43 tanks in the past week as its forces have struggled to advance, according to reports from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ukraine's armed forces provides daily updates on Facebook to detail the total combat losses of the enemy. From December 10 to December 16, the updates showed that Ukraine destroyed at least 43 Russian tanks. The December 12 update showed that at least 24 tanks were destroyed in one day.
The updates from Ukraine's armed forces come amid the ongoing war between the two nations, which has lasted for nearly a year after Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a special military operation on February 24. Ahead of the winter months, many have indicated that Russia might be failing to make advancements as Ukraine continues to counterattack and attempt to take back regions under Russian control.
Russian ground forces are unlikely to make operationally significant advances within the next several months, the UK Ministry of Defence said in a recent update. In a recent assessment of Russia's offensive campaign, the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, said that Putin is using two simultaneous military efforts to pursue his ultimate objective of regaining control of Ukraine and securing major territorial concessions.
The ISW assessed that Putin's offensive campaigns in Donetsk Oblast, particularly around Bakhmut and in the Avdiivka Donetsk city area, hope to diminish Ukraine's ability to defend any other territory in order to force Ukraine into ceasefire negotiations. The massive Russian missile strikes against critical Ukrainian infrastructure are Putin's second military effort to compel Ukraine to surrender or enter negotiations on Putin's terms, the ISW said. Over the course of the last 2 months, Russian forces have used missiles and drones to systematically target civilian and energy infrastructure in a way that generates disproportionate psychological impacts but does not achieve significant military objectives. In an update on Friday morning, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said that Russian forces continued to shell military positions and civilian infrastructure in the regions of Zaporizhia and Kherson. The enemy continues to strengthen the defense line on the border of the Kherson region and the Autonomous Republic of Crimea.
It also strengthens the defense and protection of water supply facilities to the temporarily occupied territory of Crimea, in particular the North Crimean Canal, the update said. A Friday intelligence update from the UK Ministry of Defence said Russian forces have been working on bolstering their defence along the war's front line over the last few weeks.
These efforts were demonstrative of how Russia is reverting to war strategies that UK defense officials said were largely abandoned by most modern Western militaries in recent decades.
Warfare experts have predicted a difficult winter for Russian troops due to a lack of equipment needed for the season.
Meanwhile, continued Russian missile strikes have impacted key civilian infrastructure in Ukraine, leaving many without a dependable way to keep their homes warm. Winter conditions aside, Stoltenberg described the war as the most dangerous security crisis NATO has faced since World War II, due largely to nuclear threats made recently by Putin.
Putin's goal in voicing these threats is to deter us from supporting Ukraine, Stoltenberg said, but he will not succeed in doing that. Stoltenberg said there is evidence that Russia is continuing to mobilize additional forces, seeking to increase its weapon and ammunition stockpiles, and is willing to suffer also a lot of casualties. We have to understand that President Putin is ready to be in this war for a long time and to launch new offensives, Stoltenberg said. The NATO chief urged continued military support of Ukraine to prevent Russia from making major progress on the battlefield,